Whoops. Here, what's up, chat? Happy. It feels like a Monday, but it's a Wednesday. God dang it. I am Gun, joined by Josh. Josh making a debut on the channel. I keep hitting mute instead of turning the thing down, mixing it. What's up, Josh? Welcome to the airwaves of Gundacker Gaming. You've been in the channel. You've been in the channel forever, but it's good to have you on this side of the curtain. What's up, dude?
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I've been following the stream for a long time, and I'm glad to be part of it and help out. And I'm really riding this prop wave. It's been a lot of fun, so I think this show could be a lot of fun for the community. In honor of the first show, I got a bang. I've never tried a bang.
What's ultra ironic is my local place. They were out of bang, and then they reskinned the can anyway. So I'm actually drinking a rain. Which is, okay. I appreciate the gesture.
Well, I try to get a black cherry vanilla. That's the way to go, right? And
that's my.
They did not have it. They get the shopper for Instacart got me cotton candy, so I had to go with that. And it tastes like cotton candy, that's for sure.
You like it or not?
Oh yeah, I mean, it tastes like cotton candy.
Oh shoot! Apparently my mic is different. Hold on. Properties. I think I got the wrong mic coming through on the front end. See, these are the first show. Technical difficulties. We can do that. Should fix it. Chat, how's that? My bad, chat. My bad. It's a whole different stream. We did a different setup, and I forgot to do the tracks. Is that better? Gonna send you a message later, Gun. All right, Lenny, I got you. I think you're coming through your mic. How's that? I think that should be good. I'm looking at the voice meter. I think we're good. I think we're good now. What up, EB? What up, Nate D? Lenny, I got you. Yeah. So I don't know if they heard anything that I said, but this is our debut prop show. Should expect this show on most days. Now there might be some days where there's 2 games and I just don't do anything, but maybe those days are still fine for props anyway. But the bigger the slate, I find the better the board, the more holes we could find, the more exploitable lines we can get to, and take advantage of some maybe inefficient props or just straight up spots that we like. So look for this show to hit pretty consistently throughout the week on this channel. And if you're not subscribed, hit that sub button. I bet all the newbies clicked off at the first minute. It's like, this guy's mic is trash. Get him out of here. No, that cotton candy bang, man. I couldn't do it. It was a little too fruity for me. I don't know. It sat in the fridge forever. Heck, it might still be in there. I don't know.
It's too much. Yeah, it's too much.
But yeah, I do the black cherry vanilla. But they've recently reskinned the can from black to white, and I think that's throwing a lot of the Instacart shoppers off. And it's every time they're like, they don't have it. I'm like, all right, just get rain. I don't want to rock the boat here. Anyway, we've got 13 games on the docket tonight. If you're here because you're looking for DFS advice or information, we'll do that show in an hour, talking FanDuel, DraftKings, Yahoo, and some more prize picks as more news trickles down. But we're going to kind of hyper-focus this program on some spots to attack props. Now, 13 games tonight. It's not your atypical selection of games. So I do think I'm going to have a lot more interest and a lot more props today. But the goal here is to maybe lean on 8 or less total to kind of put in my arsenal tonight. And then, of course, if you are tailing these on prize picks, you could have up to 5 in a card. You could flex play it. You could go power play on the 4-3s. Whatever you want, whatever you feel comfortable with. None of this is necessarily advice. It's all what we're gonna run. And Josh has been tracking his props in the Discord, and he's crushing it, absolutely crushing it. Yo, Zach Rich, appreciate that sub. So I guess the best place to start on a slate like this is to talk about some of the high total games, but also talking about some of the news. There's a collection of prop bettors that are new to the space. Pennsylvania, New York recently opening. I think I read earlier that Washington's about to join the party. So there's a lot of people that didn't play DFS but now want to gamble, sports bet, and to simplify their action and their daily sweat through prop bets. So there's a lot of casuals that haven't broke through that barrier that we've been grinding for the last 5 years, and that's sweating news all day, knowing usage rates when this guy's off, when this guy's on. I was able to look at some of the other content out there for prop betting, and a lot of it is very elementary versus how in depth a lot of the DFS content is. So I'm hoping to like bring those worlds together and hopefully show the light into how complicated this stuff can get. So what I like to do is I like to find spots where a couple of key usage guys will not play and see if I can take advantage of some inefficient lines on players that might benefit from those absences. Just off the top of my head, we know Kyrie Irving and James Harden will play, but we know Kevin Durant will not. So that's a big hit in terms of team usage, and we might be able to key in on some props for the Nets. And furthermore, that game is like a 234 total, so there's just a lot of implied scoring. There's definitely going to be some lines there that I like. We also got news today that Tyler Hero has entered health and safety protocol on top of Kyle Lowry he's already being out. Jimmy Butler usually really benefits when that happens. Bam Adebayo just came back last game or so for the team. So spots like that. So I'm not going to go through every single game because that would take forever. But the key news and the key calls that I want to touch on. One, let's start with that Nets situation. So this morning, I was looking at the lines for this Nets game just to kind of see what we can get Kyrie Irving at point-wise. And I was able to get him at 22.5 points. It has since gone up to 23.5. I still think there's a little bit of room for upside there. But if we look at the situation for the Nets, we can do two pools here. We'll put Kyrie Irving and James Harden on, and we'll take off Kevin Durant. And this season alone, we have a usage rate of 29% for Kyrie and 23.7% for James Harden. So we know that's going to be where most of the action comes from. And there's not a ton of minutes to back that up because Kevin Durant hasn't missed a ton and Kyrie Irving has only played a couple of games. But in this short sample size, we saw a 44% assist rate for Kyrie and 29% for James Harden. Now, if we broaden that sample size to last year, these numbers change quite a bit, where Harden will sustain the higher assist rate, played more of the true point guard, and Kyrie was more of a scorer. The last game I think might have been a little different because a little narrative involved with that Cleveland game. But if we go back to last year and take KD off, leave Kyrie and Harden on, the assist rate for Harden goes to 35.4% and Kyrie's goes down to 21%, while Kyrie has a 30.4% usage rate. So that kind of tells me that Kyrie's the scorer, Harden's the facilitator. So I actually set a card this morning that correlated that. I took Harden, I think, over 9 assists and Kyrie over 22.5 points. Now, it has gone up to 23.5, but just thinking out loud here, the 234 total is putting a lot of real points on the Nets here. I still think there's some room for action on this Kyrie real points prop. Did you have this one flagged as one that you might want to target? He dropped 27 on the Cavs, a similar situation where KD was out. The Cavs are better defense than the Wizards, and this total is a little bit higher. What do you think about Kyrie over 23.5 real points tonight?
The 22.5, that I would have really jumped on that. 23.5, still, decent. I don't know. This year I'm not really attacked the Cavs, just because their defense has been so solid, especially in the paint. But Kyrie can get all his points on the outside. I'm kind of looking at the correlate with your Harden. I like your Harden take on the assists to kind of correlate with that some more. What do you think about Patty Mills over 2.5 threes? He's been kind of steady with 3 to 4 threes a game, especially with the usage going up.
Yeah, so I do like Patty generally when he has floor spacers like KD, like Kyrie, like Harden on the floor. Washington has been pretty decent at perimeter defense. They actually allow the fewest threes per game, where they bleed a little bit more into mid-range and whatnot. So I think it's in play just because he'll benefit from a spread court. And, as a guy that's probably going to take double-digit shot attempts, 60% of them, 70% of them, if not all of them, will be from downtown. So, yeah, I think that, that's chip at a chair territory for him to nail that.
Yeah, sorry, I said Cavs earlier. I meant Wizards. The beginning of the year, the defense, was kind of surprisingly good, but I think it's kind of gone down somewhat, right? Like the overall DVP
Yeah,
um,
it's
has gone down.
it's
So I
definitely
can see it.
neutralized.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to say Cavs. I was looking at Garland before you said that. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it with Kyrie with the 23.5 and the rationale behind that.
Yeah, I'm glad I got it at 22.5. The more I look
Yeah,
at it, so they say it's an old poker piece of advice, or really just really anything that involves investing or betting. But the the bigger edge you think you have, the more you should bet. And I when I saw that Kyrie this morning, I went pretty bullish on it. So hopefully it lives up. But yeah, the Cavs is who they just played. That's why it was on the brain for me. Kyrie, a little bit of a revenge spot. But like I said, this many real points, I expect a lot of it, 30 to 40% of it to be generated either by Harden, Kyrie, real points or assists. And I also think, like, if we looked at that last game with Kyrie, pushing that 40% assist rate, there's a chance that 4.5 assists is a little too small for him. I actually think it was 5 this morning, so I think it's gone down. And I think 4.5 in this total is a really exploitable spot. In this Nets game, we know Nick Claxton's going to be out again, and Paul Millsap's going to be out. So this front court's likely going to be a combination of Daron Sharp and LaMarcus Aldridge. And maybe it's worth shopping a couple of Sharp's props. He's at 1.5 blocks and steals. Today, they launched blocks and steals and PRA to the PrizePicks board. So that's one of those tricky spots where blocks and steals are so score table dependent. But there are some games that you expect, a pace or a high total where you fall into a steal here and there, and then if you are going to get X amount of minutes as a big blocks and steals kind of right themselves. He had 3 blocks and steals in that game against Cleveland. Cleveland plays a little bit bigger and a little bit slower than this spot. Outside of that, there's just a long stretch of at least 1 block per game in his last 5. So I don't mind putting a quarter on Daron Sharp to get 2, a combo of 1.5 blocks and steals. So something to stick out there. We didn't really do a lot of blocks and steals and PRA look because it was news literally added today. But I do have in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, we do have the PRA already built in because this was initially built as a player prop companion tab, and PRA's been around for a while. But I might have to add in blocks and steals here because I think it's a good spot to jump on some 1.5s for some of these bigs that should benefit. So if I had to draw a couple of picks from this game, I think I'm going to take a shot on Kyrie over 23.5 real points. Give me Sharp over 1.5 blocks and steal. And I do have some light action on James Harden's assist prop. I just think this game, with the scoring being what it is, I think Harden, if we get a little closer to last year's metrics where it's a 35% assist rate for him, I think 10 plus is pretty much there. But now that we have PRA involved, let's see, his individual prop is 10, so that should be 35.5 plus 7, so it should be about 43 on PRA. That's about what they got. So maybe if you think this is one of those potential Harden triple-double spots, you might jump into some of this PRA. PRA is a nice little curveball. I like that. Let's get caught up on chat here, see if I'm missing anything. What up, Mighty Saint? Andrew Martinez, do we go Jokic and B to Gobert tonight? Man, we're going to definitely discuss that in about an hour, Andrew. PrizePicks also, yelp. What up, Willie Lewis? J. Cole. Don't the Nets play the Wizards? They do. That was a miss. Wood under 10 rebounds. You like that, J. Cole? Luke over 9. All right. Let's talk about some props that you were already keyed in on, Josh. Like I said, you've been tracking your stuff the last couple of days. What stuck out to you early this morning when you began your research, and what do you think you're going to anchor your night on?
So there's 2 games I really like, and I tend to do that, especially with bigger slates for PrizePicks. I like to target 2 fast-paced games or 2 bad defenses. A lot of points are going to go up. And the 2 games I like are the Celtics and Hornets, and then I like the Detroit versus Sacramento. And so for the Celtics and Hornets, can we keep going back to the Rozier well? And because that 3.5 assist prop has been staying there, and it's just been a free square for, I don't know, the last 2 weeks. And then his point props is at 18.5. He's been crushing that. It's a revenge game. Does maybe he shoots more, and so assists go down because of that factor? I don't know. His last 2 games against the Celtics, I think he's had 7 and 11 assists, and then he scored I think like around 15 and 20. Um,
That assist line is definitely pretty interesting. It's definitely beat 3.5 for like 6 or 7 games in a row. Last game, LaMelo didn't play, so it boosted him to 7. So maybe don't overreact to the 7. But I'm with you. I think 3.5 is pretty interesting. There is no Marcus Smart for the Celtics, so the guard defense takes a hit still. More Dennis Schroeder overlap. I can get behind that. I don't mind that. And then you talked about the scoring. I don't know what it is about revenge games against the Celtics. Evan Fournier has entered the chat. 18.5 definitely seems very viable. A lot of times dropping 20 plus. And then if we get another game without Kelly Oubre, who has been missing a little stretch, he's questionable tonight. If Kelly Oubre is out, I think Oubre could represent 10 to 20 points that comes from the backcourt that maybe he does a good job at filling in. Oubre's questionable. Coming back from health and safety. So, I can get behind some Terry Rozier action. I tend to like the smaller numbers because it's easier to sweat. You never feel like you're out of it, right? Even if you went into the halftime without an assist, you always feel like a couple passes get you there. So, I might lean the smaller number, but I think both are definitely in play. And then it looks like LaMelo's going to be back and ready to go. But it's kind of like if we're hammering the revenge game, right? It's a double revenge game. Maybe. So I don't want to get too stuck on that. Miles Bridges has been going absolutely bananas the last couple of games. He's playing a lot of deep minutes and a lot of real points. And if you believe in Miles Bridges putting up 20 plus real points a game right now, he plays enough minutes that he might fill in the stat sheet elsewhere. And I don't know about you, but 30.5 PRA feels a little bit light for the amount of minutes that we might get out of him. And if I look at my player props tab on Bridges, Control F, Bridges.
His style of play is perfect for that prop,
I got him at 30.2 PRA, so it's right there. And then since we're on this game, I will say that last night I added a little bit of baby game narrative Robert Williams to the fold. His rebound line is at 10 now. I think I took it at 10.5, so it's actually gone down. And it's just a matter of this being a Hornets game. Hornets are one of the fastest paced teams in all of basketball, while simultaneously playing one of the worst levels of defense. Hornets have the second highest pace rating in basketball and the fourth worst defensive rating. So just a lot of rebound opportunities to go around. And a guy like Robert Williams could certainly get there. I was even looking at his points prop. So I don't think you can really go wrong. I don't say you can go wrong with either, but I think both are fine. I'll also say when I bet this morning, there was not PRA on the table, and not blocks and steals. I doubt they would ever put Robert Williams block props because he can just go nuts. But I don't know. Did we get a PRA prop on Robert Williams? We did. We got 22.5 PRA, bro. Oof. Because he'll get assists too, man. He got 6, 7. So I like a lot of these lines on Robert Williams. 30 fantasy points might also be pretty attackable. I got him at 36, almost 37 fantasy points. I mean, it's gospel in our circle. Find Hornets, stack against the Hornets, and for fantasy as well. This makes a lot of sense for me. So give me some Williams. I don't really. In fantasy, I always drive a wedge between Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I don't want to have to make extra PrizePicks entries tonight just to have one with Brown, one with Tatum, so I can kind of avoid that. But I think Robert Williams would be a focal point for me on this spot. Let's talk about.
So he was my favorite. Williams. Williams and Rozier are my 2 favorite props so far. Williams over 30 fantasy points was one of my top 3 targets. I really like that, just because you can get there the whole peripherals, and Charlotte is second to last in rebound percentage. So, he should crush the glass. All those props you said, I mean, he has potential to crush all of them. So,
yeah, I'm with that. Chat, if you guys are out there, you're lurking, or you are stumbling across this video on YouTube looking for some props to hit, If you're not sure what we're looking at prizepicks.com. If you open that up, sign up, you use promo code Gundacker, they'll match your first deposit up to $100. And then if you want to further your research or talk shop with us, me and Josh specifically, but also some grinders in our Discord. We have a premium Discord. It looks something like this. Every day people sharing what they're running. And then, of course, we have that pre-locked voice chat for DFS, but it comes in handy for PrizePicks as well, and it's bleeding more and more into our conversations. And just looking at the DFS Twitter sphere and the YouTube waves, there's a lot of traction being picked up by PrizePicks now. So if you haven't tried it yet, or you think you might try it in the future, sign up, use code Gundacker. They show me a little bit of love for you doing that. It's kind of like a Fortnite creator code, right? You use my creator code when you sign up for PrizePicks, and we get a little bit of benefit from for doing that. So let's talk about the Miami Heat here. Miami Heat will be without Kyle Lowry and Tyler Hero, and Jimmy Butler gets to host the Portland Trailblazers, who recently got CJ McCollum back, which may make them a little bit spunkier to keep games a little bit more competitive. So a shorthanded Heat and a little bit stronger Portland Trailblazers team. It's still a 9-point spread, but like I said, Heat will be missing quite a bit in terms of minutes, like 35 minutes to be replaced for Kyle Lowry and Tyler Hero, and then we just drill that much more usage to Jimmy Butler. Let's go use this on-off court tool to look at what the numbers say about Jimmy Butler in this split, and we'll run it I guess based on this season, although Bam Adebayo is kind of a wild card because he's missed quite a bit of this year, so we'll kind of, I don't know, grain of salt it, but I think it's pretty fair to say that Butler will lead the team in usage and assist rate and all that stuff without Lowry and Hero. But officially, via our friends at Add More Funds, ! AMF in chat, using their NBA Wowie tool, Jimmy Butler holds a 24% usage rate, a 33% assist rate, and he's averaging 1.27 FanDuel points per minute, which is the same as PrizePicks. I got him for 48 FanDuel points right now, which is, again, the same as PrizePicks. If we pull up the Miami Heat board, they got Jimmy Butler at 45. That's pretty close. They got him at 21.5 real points, 7.5 assists, and 6 rebounds. Of course, you put all that together, it comes to 35.5 PRA. Do you like the idea of targeting Jimmy Butler at any of these lines? I feel like the assist number is something I can get behind based on him making this team go. He's cleared this 7.5 in 3 straight games with Tyler Hero in the mix here. But I kind of think that's the line I want to get to. 20 plus real points, unless you're an elite scorer, maybe like a Kyrie Irving, somebody like that. And I still don't think 22.5 is out of the question for Jimmy Butler. But like I said, I like getting after the smaller numbers, and that's the assist line kind of sticks out to me for Jimmy Butler. Any of these numbers stand out for you, and do you have any Jimmy Butler action?
Yeah, so that was the first one I was looking at, was the 7.5 assists, because when we've seen in the past, he will be the facilitator and kind of act like support for the team and try to get everyone involved. So I really like the assist prop. What do you think about the assist prop for Bam? I think it's kind of interesting. 3.5 assists. We've seen when everyone's in, he can get up to near 8-10 assists in a game. It seems really low and kind of a prime spot.
Yeah, I think that's a good call out. So the numbers that I read off were since 2020, so it's about 2-year sample size of Jimmy having that 33% assist rate. But Bam Adebayo is over 21%. Maybe we'll clear that a little bit, bring it to this season only. Again, Bam's missed so much time; it's hard to rely on that on whatever number we get. But he had an 18% assist rate so far, under 40 minutes. I like that call. I had looked up Butler's last 10 games without Kyle Lowry. He had cleared 7.5 assists in 3 of his last 4 of his last 6, and there's a couple right under. But we're going back into like the playoff series against Milwaukee, so I don't want to overreact to how far back we're going in some of those games. it's different. There's Kendrick Nuns. There's guys like that make the team a little bit different. But I'm gonna do the same search without Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo, if you guys missed it, returned to the team against the Raptors last time out. And by the way, when he came back, I took Siakam under 20.5 real points, and it hit for me. So Adebayo's definitely one of the better center defenders in all of basketball. I thought that they priced Nurkic pretty low, so I wasn't going to double down on that one. But Adebayo came back and played 32 minutes off the rip. So I'm expecting normal minutes for him. It's not one of those, can we slow roll him back into conditioning? So if this 9-point spread kind of stays what it is, I can get behind that. 2 assists for him against Toronto. I don't mind that 3.5 assist number here. Last couple games without Lowry, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4 assists. Again, going back into that Milwaukee game. So it's not like the strongest click, but it's definitely low enough that without Lowry, without Hero, it makes a lot of sense. Grab a board, dish it out. And then, without Lowry and Hero, there's maybe an opportunity for a guy like Duncan Robinson to pick up some scoring. I don't think I'm going to put real money on Duncan Robinson today. Any other Heat that you would take a shot on? It's just Jimmy and Bam here.
Yeah, just Jimmy and Bam.
All right. We want to maybe move our focus to, you said you like the Sacramento game, and there was a stretch today where we didn't have lines on Sacramento. Sacramento, for you guys to keep in track, boasts one of the worst defensive efficiencies in all of basketball, which creates a lot of opportunity for opposing teams. Unfortunately, they're hosting the night 2 of a back-to-back Detroit Pistons that have the literal worst offensive rating in all of basketball. So there's not going to be able to get to a lot of Pistons with a high level of confidence, but we might be able to isolate concentrated usage on the Kings side with Halliburton out, with Fox in, and then we've seen Terrence Davis pick up big minutes in that last outing, and that front court's getting a little bit healthier. I still think there is some room on the Pistons side to target some isolated usage guys, Cade Cunningham, Diallo, Sadiq Bey, but with this total being what it is, high enough that I have interest. What was standing out to you from this far out for this game?
Yeah. So Fox let us down last game with Halliburton out, right? He got ejected, I think, third quarter, beginning of the second half. I mean, he's down to 20.5 points against Detroit coming off a back-to-back. I'll go back to it, even though he burned us last game. I think DraftKings Sportsbook opened them up at 22.5, and it's gone down to 21.5. But yeah, PrizePicks still has him under that at 20.5, so I like that. I could even get on his rebound prop too at 3.5, because Detroit being one of the worst rebounding teams, as well as the Kings. And then I like Harrison Barnes over 13.5 points. Just the minutes he plays, and the more minutes out against a bad team, obviously higher probability of hitting. Mm-hmm. So 3.5, I like better than chasing like a streaky shooter like Hield. I feel safer with the Barnes prop at 13.5. And then for on the Detroit side, Diallo's just been crushing the glass, and like I said, the Kings are one of the worst rebounding teams out there. So at 5.5 rebounds, I could get back on that. I think he had 13 rebounds last night. He's just really been aggressive on the glass, and it's actually hurt Cade's rebounding, because Cade, started off really strong in the beginning of the season with his rebounding, and ever since Diallo's kind of gotten the rotation, his minutes have gone up. You've seen his rebounds go down for Cade. So I could get back on Diallo. I don't know. Do you like anyone else on the Detroit side of things?
Yeah, I want to revisit the Fox information in just a second.
Yeah.
But I was updating the injury reports this morning. I didn't have Olynyk as fully out. It might be one of those he's going to be questionable for a little bit before he's officially in. But if he comes back, we might start looking at Trey Lyles under. But let me see if I can get an update on Detroit's situation. I'm assuming he's still going to be out, but it's one of those where he wasn't officially out. Kelly Olynyk conditioning, won't play Tuesday against the Warriors. So he's dealing with conditioning. So we'll see how long it's going to take for him to get back in game shape. Even if it's like slowly, 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, that might draw away from Isaiah Stewart and Trey Lyles. And Lyles has been a guy that is priced at a number that you usually don't see bench players at, right? 25 FanDuel points. kind of hard to get to, and I think it's because often we see him close these games, whether it be because of blowouts or because Isaiah Stewart, isn't the right option for them. Last night, Trey Lyles again closed out the game. The fourth quarter, it was a blowout. In the game prior, Trey Lyles against the Suns, a lopsided game. He closed that one out. No, he didn't close that one out. He played 19 minutes in that game against the Toronto Raptors. Trey Lyles closed that game out. So a lot of these games he's closing. And I don't know, it just feels like that's volatile enough that under 25 might hit more than it doesn't. I have him at 25 on the dot, so it is really, really close. And I don't have a large rotation for the Pistons today. They could be without Frank Jackson and Killian Hayes to maybe raise our minute projections for some of these guards. But that's what I want to keep an eye on as Kelly Olynyk starts lurking. And then to go back on that De'Aaron Fox situation, this season when Fox and Halliburton are on the court together, Fox has a 27% usage rate and a 21% assist rate, about a FanDuel point per minute. Halliburton's a guy that can facilitate, and oftentimes you look at his stat line, you're seeing a lot of assists. I think there's a chance that some of those assists go to Fox's direction. When Fox is on and Halliburton's off the court, Fox's assist percentage goes to 27%, while his usage rate goes up to 29%. So everything you mentioned about De'Aaron Fox benefiting here is really, really wise, I think. And then, he only played like 26 minutes in that last game. When he came back in for his fourth quarter rotation, he immediately got ejected. So I think every line that we have on Fox right now with Halliburton out is kind of soft. I got him at 43 PrizePicks points, and then we know he'll assume a lot of scoring and a lot of real shot attempts. So I might go crazy with some Fox numbers tonight. Probably going to take 18 plus shot attempts should he play the entire game. So what's your favorite Fox line specifically? Is it points or assists? I think both are viable, and you might even make a case for the fantasy score here or the PRA, which is not that far from the fantasy score.
I mean, all those are really appealing, and I could easily see him hitting over on all of them, especially the rebounds. I mean, 3.5 rebounds, that's really low for a bad rebounding, bad shooting, going against bad shooting, a bad offensive team. I would probably feel most comfortable with the points, just because if he plays aggressive and what we're used to with Fox, I would feel most comfortable with that. Because 6.5 assists is pretty high, but I agree he should soak up Halliburton's assists.
Brett Jackson with the sub. Appreciate that, Brett. All right, real quick. Last 10 games for Fox without Tyrese Halliburton. We mentioned he got ejected against Houston, probably left 8 to 12 minutes on the board. 14 points in that one, but before that, 37 real points, 24, 32, 23, 20, 27 against this Detroit team that was last season, 18. So based on the line that we have right now in the split without Tyrese Halliburton, he has missed this 20.5 line essentially twice, and twice without getting ejected, and then a couple of these other spots is 18 real points in 31 minutes against Golden State. I would imagine that might have been scoreboard influenced, and then 20 in 41 minutes against Charlotte. I would have bet my life that he would have hit the over on that one. So I'm with you. Let's get a lot of Fox exposure in our cards tonight. Is there any specific is there anything that we didn't touch on that you want to throw in before we?
One I want to get to was, I know it could be uncomfortable clicking on such a high prop, but Jokic at 12.5 rebounds. It's the Clippers, and I like picking on the Clippers for rebounding, really bad rebounding team. Mm-hmm. And Jokic is averaging almost 14 rebounds a game, and his last two against the Clippers, he's had 13, and then the other game he had 22 rebounds. So I know it's high at 12.5, but I feel really comfortable with over on that prop. And then I wanted your take on, since you kind of know Westbrook Whisper. I've been clicking under on Westbrook for the last 2 weeks and just been free square for me on fantasy points. Do you think this is a game he bounced back? I mean, I don't see Westbrook staying at 7,500 on FanDuel and staying under, around 30 fantasy points a game. He's got to bounce back, I feel like.
I think what Westbrook lacks right now is field goal efficiency.
Yeah.
The shot attempts will be there, right? 15 plus. He starts hitting a couple more of these, then we start getting a couple more real points. I love the fact that he's cut down on the turnovers a little bit, maybe surrendering some of that facilitation to LeBron James. I think for almost both situations, DFS and Prize Picks, I might be a little bit skittish on touching Westbrook's numbers at all. I got him at 43 Prize Picks points, give or take a couple, which would be 6 points above what the line is on Prize Picks. So maybe I can get behind that. I think there's so much volatility in what to expect from the Lakers game to game because they tend to roll out a lineup that is specific to the opponent. We've seen LeBron James start at center in 5 of their last 8 games, something like that. But based on how big the opposing center is, then they'll lean to Dwight Howard as the center. And I don't know what to expect from them looking at Domantas Sabonis. The Pacers are without Miles Turner, so if we put a LeBron lineup out there. Where he's at the 5, maybe there's a couple more shots for Westbrook and a couple more rebounds for Westbrook. So maybe I can capitalize on this fantasy score, but I think from this far out, it'd probably just be one where I pick my battles and stay away from. The 17 real points, though, that seems interesting on the south side.
Yeah.
And then as we wrap up, chat, if you guys got any favorite plays, throw them in chat, and then I'll get out of here. But on the Pacers side, I did mention Miles Turner out for the Pacers. And Malcolm Brogdon has not played in quite some time, and so there is going to be some volatility on whether or not he plays today. But it might be one of those spots where I expect him out until he's in. This team seems like they're about to hit the I don't know about the rebuild button, but the trade a couple guys button. We've heard some murmurs, so I think there's an above average probability that Brogdon is out again tonight and Miles Turner would be out again, and then we might be able to capitalize on some Karis LeVert and some Pacers line. We were sweating that LeVert 4.5 assists last game out. He's hit that in both games. I would assume that if we think about how bad the Lakers have been on defense this year, if we get another game without Brogdon, Karis LeVert 4.5 assists against the Lakers, something I'm willing to go after again. It's still live even if Brogdon was in, because we might expect Brogdon to be on a limit anyway. How do you feel about Karis LeVert 4.5 assists, and did you have your eyes on any of these Pacers numbers?
Yeah, that was the one I had marked in, was the 4.5 assists for LeVert. I seeing the past stats with Brogdon out and how much he's facilitating, and it's the Lakers perimeter defense, I could easily see him dishing out and the perimeter getting assists with threes. So I really like that prop. The 20.5, point guards have been feasting against the Lakers, but yeah, I could see it, but I feel more comfortable with the assist prop, definitely.
We love low numbers. 37 fantasy points for LeVert here. I got him at 39. I would expect that to maybe push 50, and not even joking, if I take out Brogdon. So maybe we act now and hedge later. But if Brogdon, I don't know. I just don't see them forcing Brogdon back anytime soon, especially considering the situation that they've been in. So that's what we got. Catching up on chat before we get out of here. I got your 6. Any Wizards Nets? Bill 32.5 PRA. Irving 32. I'm all about some Irving numbers tonight. I have action on Irving over 22.5 real points. But I do think if you don't know for sure who you expect to be the primary ball handler between him and Harden, if we go back to last year, Harden did more of the ball handling than Kyrie, and Kyrie did more scoring. And there was a quote that Kyrie said, "You're the point guard now." I'm kind of expecting that to be more normal, so I've been leaning on Kyrie for the points and Harden for the assists. But that's the beautiful thing about them adding PRA now, is we can kind of compensate for the blurred line in between. So I think you can, considering that total being what it is, I think you can get action on Harden PRA and Kyrie PRA, and it's not negatively correlated because a lot of their assists are going to go to each other. Beal is somebody I didn't touch the emergence of Kyle Kuzma, the return of Hachimura, Thomas Bryant, Montrezl Harrell. I just don't know what to expect, and I think with prop betting, you can really pick our battles a little bit more stringently. But if this team total lives up to what we're expecting, 230 plus game total, there's definitely a reason to like Bradley Beal over 22.5. But I mean, that's basically Kyrie's number, and I go to Kyrie. PRA is interesting. It's really low. PRA 32.5 for Beal. I can get behind that, but I don't like. I just feel like there's a lot of mouths to feed on the Wizards side right now that I think is best for me to just stay away. So I'm not gonna force the bet. Kuzma over 1.5 3-pointers lock. You like that? Kuzma 1.5 threes. Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Also, Trae Young is in a really, really high total, so we might get behind that. Guys, that's going to be it for this stream. We'll talk some more prize picks in the coming hour or so on the DFS side of things as more news comes out. But that was our prize pick show. Expect more of these afternoon live streams based on favorite props, player props in the NBA. A lot of these lines are going to be based off what Prize Picks is offering. Again, if you haven't tried it, use code Gundacker when you sign up. They'll double your first deposit up to $100. $20 becomes $40. $100 becomes $200. No slow drip, no playthrough, none of that nonsense. Get into the mix and start making some action. And if you want to tail what we're running, we'll be sharing pretty much all of our cards. Josh has been pretty transparent in tracking his bets in the Prize Picks channel. Then we got other guys out here that hopefully you'll see rotated on this show in the coming weeks that you'll get to know that are in there as well. And then every day before lock, we're in the pre-lock voice chat for about 2 hours, grinding down all the NBA news, the pivots, the DFS plays, the Prize Picks bets. It's the grind don't stop. It's basketball don't sleep. So come be part of that. If you want to get into that premium Discord, go to rundfs.com. Get yourself a membership. Our memberships come with baked-in vouchers to use towards a Fantasy Cruncher subscription. That's more for the DFS side, but you also get access to my spreadsheet to help analyze each game in an expedited process, and also get access to the player props tab. Josh, your first show is in the books. How do you feel?
Feels good. That was fun, man. I appreciate it. Look forward to doing more.
Yeah. All right, chat. I'll see you guys on the DFS show in just a little bit. I appreciate your time. As always, hit that thumbs up before you get out of here, and we'll see you in a couple minutes on the DFS show.
Bye.